Welcome to Psalmic Saturday here at Ariel's Corner. This is Ariel Gatoga, and we are streaming live on YouTube. Moderating today are the lovely Heather and the lovely I Am Her Eminence. Thank you so much, moderators, and thank you so much to everybody for joining us today for our Psalm Spell. I hope you're having a great day today. We'll get going right now. It's a bit of a long-ish psalm today, so I put our premiere at 11:15 instead of 11 just in case. I think that was probably not necessary, but I'm better safe than sorry, you know. The worst thing is when we have a premiere going while while the live stream is going. It's very confusing to have two streams at the same time. So that's what we're doing. We'll have a premiere at 11:15, and I hope you can join us all there. I hope you all can join us there. Now, you can just hang out to the end of the exit music, and that should put you right onto that watch page, or at the very least to a link to the watch page. Our website is located at arielscorner.com, arielscorner.com, and you'll see a bunch of Psalm Magic resources on that website, including our online Witches Psalter. We are going to be working Psalm 31 today, so if you want to follow along on our Witches Psalter, that's how to get to it, arielscorner.com. While you're there, you can see that we also have all kinds of other stuff. We have free booklets, free full-length courses, free guided meditations, lots of lectures, many articles. So please check it out, arielscorner.com. On the header and footer of each of those pages, you'll find links to our social media, including our private Facebook group and our Discord server. So check those out as well and come have some conversations with us. Speaking of which, we do have a chat thread open on this stream. So please chat amongst yourselves. And if you have any questions for me, put them right in the chat thread. I should be able to get to them since I've given us that extra 15-minute buffer today. If for some reason I can't get to your questions, you can bring them over to the Discord server or the private Facebook group, and hopefully we can get them answered there. Our podcast hub is located at arielspodcasts.com, and our shop is located at arielscornershop.com. If you'd like to donate to this channel, you can do that by going to paypal.me/arielgatoga. You could use a super sticker, super chat, or super thanks on this on YouTube. Or if you go to our website, you could use a credit card, debit card, Apple Pay, or any other kind of payment you like if you feel like giving a donation. Just on the footer of those pages, you'll see a button that says donate. All right. I think that did it. Oh, before I forget, make sure you remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. All right, let's get going on our psalm spell for today. Excuse me. Today we are working Psalm 32. No, we're not. We are not. Who said 32? I was just kidding. Here we go. Today we are working Psalm 31. In Psalm Magic, we use Psalm 31 traditionally for tolerance, to escape scandal, to end distress, and to end gossip. It's a very popular psalm for ending gossip. And today I would like to use Psalm 31 to overcome any misunderstandings. To overcome any kind of misunderstandings. Obviously, you can use this psalm along with me for any of those other purposes, or any purpose that you decide that you need it for, just by taking the seeds that we discover and planting them according to your desire. The way we work... Take two. The way we work Psalm Magic is very simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. This is commonly called an incantation. After we finish that, we go back through the psalm and we consider each verse in turn. We dig for hidden, occult meanings that lie behind each verse, and we do our best to apply what we find there to the problem or situation that we've brought to the psalm. And by doing all of this, we are dislodging the seeds of magic that are inherent in the psalm and planting them in the fertile grounds of our deep mind, where they take root, they grow, they blossom forth, and they bear fruit after their kind. And that's exactly what you and I are going to do together right now with Psalm 31. In thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in thy righteousness. Bow down thine ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong rock for an house of defense to save me. For thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net that they have laid privily for me, for thou art my strength. Pull me out of the net that they have laid privily for me, for thou art my strength. Into thine hand I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord God of truth. I have hated them that regard lying vanities, but I trust in the Lord. I will be glad and rejoice in thy mercy, for thou hast considered my trouble. Thou hast known my soul in adversities. And thou hast not shut me up into the hand of the enemy. Thou hast set my feet in a large room. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am in trouble. Mine eye is consumed with grief, yea, my soul and my belly. For my life is spent with grief, and my years with sighing. My strength falleth because of mine iniquity, and my bones are consumed. I was a reproach among all mine enemies, but especially among my neighbors, and a fear to mine acquaintance. They that did see me without fled. Okay, there we go. They that did see me without fled from me. I am forgotten as a dead man out of mind. I am like a broken vessel. For I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side. While they took counsel together against me, they devised to take away my life. But I trusted in thee, O Lord. I said, Thou art my God. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of mine enemies, and from them that persecute me. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant. Save me for thy mercy's sake. Let me not be ashamed, O Lord, for I have called upon thee. Let the wicked be ashamed, and let them be silent in the grave. Let the lying lips be put to silence, which speak grievous things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. O how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men. Thou shalt hide them in the secret of thy presence from the pride of man. Thou shalt keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues. Blessed be the Lord, for he hath showed me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. For I said in my haste, I am cut off from before thine eyes. Nevertheless, thou heardest the voice of my supplications when I cried unto thee. O love the Lord, all ye his saints, for the Lord preserveth the faithful, and plentifully reward. O love the Lord, all ye his saints, for the love O love the Lord, all ye his saints, for the Lord preserveth the faithful, and plentifully rewardeth the proud doer. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord. I've changed my mind. We're going to do this against gossip. So we're going to use Psalm 31 to protect and or overcome gossip. It starts out with, In thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in thy righteousness. The importance of first aligning and orienting ourselves to the Lord before we start any kind of magic, but especially the psalm magic. And it's always usually built into the psalm. And it trains us. It trains us in a very healthy, effective magical practice that Just like in regular witchcraft, we ground and center, we connect to the source. And so we are connecting to the source. It's calling it the Lord here. Remember, the Lord is a symbol for the one power, the one force, the one substance in all of the universe. And there is but one. And it's saying that in this force, and there is only this force, so of course we want to put our trust in that. We don't want to put our trust in illusions. We want to put our trust in that which is real, that which is true. It says, in thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. So it's not the infinite's will that you be ashamed. It's not the infinite's will that people are gossiping about you, or that maybe you're gossiping about other people. It's not the infinite's will that any of this be happening. So if it's happening, we can turn away from what's happening and align with the force, and we, by aligning with the force, align with that which is true, and everything that isn't true falls away. Deliver me in thy righteousness, and that's what deliverance is. You are delivered in the righteousness of the infinite because you are aligning with that righteousness, and anything that is not that righteousness is shined away, just like a dark room is shined away when you turn on the light. Bow down thine ear to me, deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong rock for an house of defense to save me. Now, to bow down the ear, it's so poetic that, this infinite force is bowing down its ear to hear you. But that's just an acknowledgement of what's always the case. The infinite always hears us. It's just that we don't always listen. It's not that the infinite doesn't hear us, it's that we don't listen. We don't allow frequently the healing that we ask for to take place. So many people pray by going blah, 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 and then they go back and do whatever it was that caused the problem to begin with. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to just be parroting a bunch of supplications to some imagined external deity and then running off and doing the very thing that got us in trouble in the first place. We not only do we want to call out, which is what we need to do to start this whole process, is to call out to this force, but then we need to allow this force to be with us. And then it says, deliver me speedily. Of course it's speedily, because it's the truth. When you align with the truth, when you turn on the light in a dark room, it's not, unless you've got a real problem with the wiring in your house, but if the light actually comes on, once the light comes on, there isn't like a lag time between the time that the room is dark and the room is light. There's no lag time. Or when you open the curtains and let the sunlight in, there's not a lag time. It's not like you have to have a discussion between the light and the dark, and they're going to negotiate and they're going to come up with some sort of an agreement. It's just the way it is. There's no lag time whatsoever. So deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong rock for an house of defense to save me. So the strong rock is a symbol, especially in these old poems, that the strong rock is a symbol of that which doesn't move, that which doesn't dissolve. It's not like the sands of the desert. It's a rock that is immovable, and it's not going to dissolve. And you want to feel that your relationship with the infinite is so strong that there's nothing that can come up against you, because nothing can come up against it. You and the infinite are one, therefore you are safe. Therefore, whatever is going on with this gossip, this slander, this misunderstanding, whatever's happening here, can't coexist within this relationship that you have with the infinite. It then goes back to the same symbol. For thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. What else do you want to have lead you and guide you except for the infinite, except for this rock and fortress? All of your protection, all of your safety, all resolution, all that is necessary for the answering of your request, your prayer, the manifestation of your spell that you've brought to this psalm, rests in your connection to the infinite. And since that's so, what you want is to stop telling yourself what to do. Instead, you're going to listen and be guided by the infinite, and you'll know what to do. If you knew what to do, you wouldn't be doing this spell. If you already knew the answer, you wouldn't have to come to the spell. So it's important to remind yourself of that. So for thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net that they have laid privily for me, for thou art my strength. So if you're feeling like whatever is going on in your life, you feel like you are walking in an eternal gotcha moment where people have been trying to maybe trap you, or have been trying to get you to be trying to find your vulnerabilities to capitalize on them. If that's what you're going through, it's good to recognize that, and recognize that that doesn't have any power over you. Even if that's happened, it doesn't have any power over you. But also, in addition to that, it's important to understand that our own ego mind does that to us every single day. And if we are willing to place our focus on the infinite and ask that the infinite rescue us from the nets that our own mind sets up for us, then we will be less inclined to be victimized by people on the external who are doing something similar. So we want both, not only whatever's going on in the world, but also our tendency to trip ourselves up. For thou art my strength, it says. Remember, strength in the Psalms is military strength. Thou art my strength. So when the Lord is your strength, when the infinite power or the infinite force is your strength, that means that it's your defense. That means you don't need to defend yourself. And if it looks like you're having to defend yourself on the external, and that's exactly what needs to happen, it's only because you're being guided into how to do that. Because if you're trying to make up your own mind about how to defend yourself, you're going to be digging yourself deeper into the problem. But the infinite knows everything, how to take care of it, because it's infinite intelligence. And remember that the infinite's ways are beyond or past finding out. It has weapons we know not of. And what that is a symbol of is that the solution very frequently is not something that we have the capability of conceiving ourselves, especially when we're in the throes of the problem. So we have to sometimes allow the infinite to take over for us in a way that's saying, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I know it will. That is a very powerful place to be. I don't know how this is going to work out, but I know it will, and I know it's going to be great. Thou art my strength. Into thine hand I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord God of truth. So this is the very last bit of psalm magic that character Jesus ever performed. And he did it right up on the cross when this character had been crucified. And this began the next phase of that story. And so it's a very dramatic symbol, and everything in the Bible is symbolic. It's so important to remind ourselves of that. I think people get so superstitious with this stuff, but oh well, what are you going to do? It's a symbol. Everything that is powerful in any kind of mythology, any kind of magic, is only powerful if you can internalize it, if you can personalize it, if you can recognize that all characters are parts of you. And so even that character Jesus on the cross is you. And this is you saying, I don't need to be up here. I don't need to be in this situation because the infinite's got this. So whatever it is that you're going through, you don't need to be there. Into thine hand I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord God of truth. You're already redeemed. And remember, redemption is like a distillation. It's pulling out the essence of something and leaving the dross. It's pulling out the essence and leaving the inert material behind, separating the chaff from the grain. And you've been redeemed already, it's saying. So that means you've been removed from the intolerable situation and made better as a result of it. as a parting gift. Not only are you going to have the solving of whatever this problem is, but you're going to have all kinds of other great gifts. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord God of truth. Lord God of truth is Hesed because mercy and truth are on the same sphere, number 4 on the tree of life, on the Hermetic tree, ruled by Jupiter. So not only is that truth, meaning that the truth will be revealed about the situation, and anybody that's been lying about you, it's going to come out and all will be well, but also the truth that none of this matters ultimately. Ultimately, none of this is going to matter, because this is all part of an illusion that is going to, the light's going to come on and everything's going to reveal itself and all will be well, because you're trusting in this Lord of truth. I have hated them that regard lying vanities, but I trust in the Lord. Remember, hate in the Psalms means turn away from. It means to disregard. So when you disregard them that regard lying vanities, it's got to be first within. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything. If you don't disregard your own ego, your own lying vanities that exist within you, then you have no power. Your word doesn't carry much weight in the world. But if you're willing to turn away from and disregard your own ego, your own lying vanities, then you have a leg to stand on in the world, where you can also say, and therefore I'm going to turn away from all lying vanities, even the stuff that appears to be happening to me. So I've done that, but I trust in the Lord. So I'm turning my attention away from this problem and putting it on the infinite. I'm turning away from my own vanity, from my own lying, as well as the vanity and lying that is happening in the world, all of that, completely disowning it, turning away from it, and putting all of my attention on the infinite, which they have talked about already. The psalmist has already talked about as being the quality in this particular case of truth. So that's the name of God that you can think of when you're thinking in terms of this particular psalm, is that name of God is divine truth, infinite truth. Sphere number 4, Jupiter, Sakiel. So you're turning away from all the problems and you're placing all of your attention on infinite truth. I will be glad and rejoice in thy mercy, for thou hast considered my trouble. Thou hast known my soul in adversities. Mercy is Hesed, is sphere number 4. So we're going to sphere number 4. Jupiter, not only does it rule truth, but it rules justice. And prosperity, by the way. All kinds of cool stuff on that sphere. So this is, again, not only are you going to get this problem solved, but you're going to get so much more as a parting gift. It's just going to be wonderful blessings coming your way. And that's what mercy is. Mercy isn't, when in the Psalms, when it talks about mercy, many of us think of mercy as when something stops happening that's bad. Oh, I have mercy on you, so I'm going to stop hurting you. But mercy in the Psalms means the solving of the problem. Mercy in the Psalms means the manifestation of the desire, the successful outcome of whatever the magical operation is. So I will be glad and rejoice in thy mercy. Therefore, it's time now to rejoice that this has already happened. For thou hast considered my trouble. The infinite knows what you're going through and does not will it. And thou hast known my soul in adversities. So the infinite, when it talks about the soul in the Psalms, it's not talking about the soul like we define it as being who you are as an extension of perfection. When it talks about the soul, it's the same as when it talks about the heart. It's talking about your deep mind, your habitual mind. And the infinite knows all the thoughts in your deep mind that are contributing to the adversities. So if you let go of your control over the situation and let the infinite work through you, the infinite can undo all of the thought forms that are holding whatever this is in place. And and hast not shut me up in the hand of the enemy. Thou hast set my feet in a large room. So this is the mercy here, that regardless of the fact that you have a hand in what's going on here, even though it seems like you're 100% the victim, you're not. Even if it's only 0.00001% being your responsibility and the rest of it is you being victimized. But it's that one little bit that's in your mind that's the most important here, because the infinite can use its power, if you allow it, to undo that one little part. And that one little part is like flipping the light on in the room where the entire darkness disappears. So you're not going to hold on to any of it. You're not going to hold on to any little bit of it. Because, and has not shut me up in the hand of the enemy. It's not the will of the infinite that you have anything going on like this. And therefore it has to work through your deep mind. What it talked about before was your soul. It has to work through your deep mind to make that be so. Because everything that is in your deep mind is reflected on the screen of space. So if something's happening on the screen of space, you have to allow the infinite right of way into that deep mind where it can undo whatever it is that's holding that in place. Thou hast set my feet in a large room. The possibilities of your the possibilities of what you're capable of are endless. The large room that you've been set into is instead of what you're going through. Instead of what you've been going through, you've been taken out of that and delivered into this largeness, into this expansive room, which is another symbol of sphere number 4 in Jupiter, the expansive nature of Jupiter. So not only are you going to get delivered from this problem, you are going to get so many blessings, that, and many of which may not even seem related to this. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am in trouble. This is a good thing just to remind ourselves. This, you can have that memorized. Anytime you think that something's going on in your life and you've got to combat it yourself, you can say, wait a minute, have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am in trouble. Mine eye is consumed with grief, yea, my soul and my belly. When your eye is consumed with grief, it's busting you here. The psalm is busting you. It's saying all you're looking for is the problem here. You're not looking for the solution. And you have to be willing to see that. You have to be willing to realize that your eye is consumed with grief. All you are doing is looking for the trouble. All you're doing is reminding yourself how bad it is. Blaming them, blaming the situation, going on. And maybe all of that is true. Maybe you have been totally victimized. But until you're willing to allow the infinite to take over, you're still going to be reorienting yourself to the problem because your eye is consumed with grief. You're habituated to the problem. Yea, my soul and my belly. So your soul and your belly are your deep mind, and you know that feeling, that pit in your stomach. So you're walking around looking at how bad everything is, and it's a self-perpetuating loop of disdain, of grief. So we have to allow ourselves to be lifted out of that state of mind and allow the infinite to reorient us. And when we're reoriented in our deep mind, the screen of space must change to reflect that. Just like when you jump up, you must come down. It's a law. Just like there's the law of gravity, there is the law of cause and effect. For my life is spent with grief, and my years with sighing. My strength faileth because of mine iniquity, and my bones are consumed. We're being very honest here. My whole life is consumed with this, and it's my iniquity. I'm owning this. I am taking 100% responsibility for the kinds of thoughts that I'm thinking, for what I'm expecting, that I'm spending it with grief. And it's really easy for me, this is still us pining over this verse, it's really easy for me to blame external circumstances for what I'm going through. And everybody will agree with me. So I've got a solid alibi for my problems. It's them. And nobody will ever disagree with me because it's so perfect. But we don't want that anymore because we want to be delivered from the situation. And in order for us to be delivered from the situation, we have to be delivered from the thought system, the thought form that's creating this. And if we cannot take responsibility for having that thought form and allowing the infinite to undo it and recreate a new thought form in its stead, then we're going to just be stuck in the same cycle. I was a reproach among all mine enemies, but especially among my neighbors, and a fear to mine acquaintance. But they that did see me without fled from me. We are still confessing our horrible attitude. Even if it's true that we are victimized, everyone's sick of hearing about it. Nobody wants to listen to us. Nobody wants to be around us. We are just so annoying. It's like, ugh. Sing a new tune, please. Nobody wants to be around us. Everybody is tired of our story. So we need to be tired of our story now too. And that's part of what's going on until we get to a point where we're sick of our own selves, we're not going to want to change. And now we're getting there. I am forgotten as a dead man out of mind. I am like a broken vessel. This is a great place to be. When you're recognizing that you've hit bottom, when you are as if you're dead, you are broken. But think about the good thing about a broken vessel. When you're a broken vessel, you can then stop defending and stop trying to fix it yourself and allow the infinite to do it for you. For I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side. While they took counsel together against me, they devised to take away my life. Now, first and foremost, before this ever happened in the physical world, we were doing this to ourselves. And we all do it. All of us do this. We all slander ourselves. We all gossip against ourselves. And that is the source of the fear in our lives, of how much self-hatred we put up with. Self-loathing. Listen to the things that you say about yourself. Listen to the kinds of words that come up under your breath about yourself. Notice the way you are with yourself. Notice how much tension you're willing to carry. Notice how you force yourself into situations that you don't want to be in. Notice how you basically tell yourself just to shut up and grin and bear it, or whatever your thing is. Whatever you do to yourself, whatever other people are doing to you pales in comparison to the way you treat yourself. So you've got to be willing to recognize that and to stop it. And if you're willing to stop the internal self-loathing and allow yourself to love yourself as much as the infinite loves you, when you're willing to do that, you're going to notice everything outside of you starts to change very rapidly. But I trusted in thee, O Lord. I said, thou art my God. That's everything right there. That's when everything changes. The whole thing changes course when you allow yourself to trust in the infinite, which is not separate from you. It's not some distant deity. It's not some patriarchal father God up in the sky that demands sacrifices from you. It's none of that. It's the love out of which you are created. It's the you that is so powerful that is before your ego was ever conceived, before your personality was ever conceived, before any of these problems were ever conceived. That's who you exist as. And you continue to exist as that. But we're asleep to that reality. And the only reality we know is that false reality that we've constructed for ourselves, both individually and collectively. But when we say, no, I trusted in thee, O Lord, I said, thou art my God. No longer are we going to let the world be our God, that our bad self-concept be our God, our self-loathing be our God, our addictions be our God, our hatreds, our arguments, whatever it is, those things aren't our God anymore. Only the truth is our God. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of mine enemies and from them that persecute me. Again, I'm not going to try to do this for myself anymore. It's you that's going to do it. And the you is the surrender to the higher part of ourselves. Not an external deity, but it seems like an external deity when you compare it to how we are with ourselves. It seems so different because it's a completely different thought system. And we understand that we don't really know ourselves the way we think we do once we start to allow for this to happen, when we trust in the infinite and say that thou art my God. No longer are we allowing ourselves to bow down and worship our egos and our problems and our money and our sex life and our addictions and whatever else we think is the most important thing. Those things are all fine and they all have their place, but they're not our God. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of my... Oh, I already did that one, sorry. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant. Save me for thy mercy's sake. The face of the infinite is the presence of the infinite, and there is a similarity between the face of God and the fear of God. So when the face of God is shining upon you, which is constant, by the way, the only thing that changes is our recognition and our awareness of this, that the infinite's presence is the medicine. Whatever is necessary, the presence of the infinite is the cure, is the remedy. And that's the mercy right there, is the presence of the infinite. All we have to do is focus on experiencing the infinite's presence. Let me not be ashamed, O Lord, for I have called upon thee. Let the wicked be ashamed, and let them be silent in the grave. When these Psalms were written, the idea of shame was very, it was all-encompassing. When you had shame, it was similar to modern-day cancel culture. And so if you were canceled back then, it was even worse than today if you get canceled. If you were canceled back then, you couldn't eat, you couldn't get shelter, you couldn't do anything. You were exile. You were persona non grata. And if somebody decided to cancel you based on false accusations, imagine what that was. Your life was over even though you didn't do anything, just because you pissed off the wrong person. So when it says, let me not be ashamed, O Lord, for I have called upon thee, it's more than just let me not feel bad about myself. It's let me not be in the situation where I feel disconnected from my good. Let the wicked be ashamed. Let them be silent in the grave. And the wicked here, first and foremost, are the thought forms that are causing this to occur in the first place. Not necessarily the people, but the thought forms, the actions, the behavior. So when it says it's like evil destroying itself. Let the gossip destroy itself. Let the slander destroy itself. Let the poverty destroy itself. Let whatever the problem is that I've brought to this psalm, let it destroy itself. Let the lying lips be put to silence, which speak grievous things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. First and foremost, right? We have to destroy that in ourselves. In ourselves. If we've destroyed it in ourselves, it can't exist in our world. So we have to put to silence the lying lips. How much do you lie every day? Anytime you consider yourself to be less than, anytime you consider yourself to be faulty, anytime you consider yourself to be separate, whatever your conception of yourself that's not perfection, are lying lips. And that's what we have to start with. Because if we don't start with that, the rest of it is temporary at best. Even if we do get a reprieve from whatever is going on in the world, it's temporary because the thought form behind it is still active and looking for the next thing and looking for the next thing. So we want to to stop this in its tracks. So what are the lying lips that need to be put to silence? Listen to your words. Listen to your words and stop. Reverse it. Every time you hear something that's wrong, I'm so stupid. Whoop. Good thing you caught that. Reverse that. Infinite intelligence is coursing through me. I am one with infinite intelligence. The genius of infinite intelligence is one with the genius of my mind. Those kinds of thoughts. You hear what you say and you stop and you reorient it immediately. You reframe it immediately. And that's how you let the lying lips be put to silence, which speak grievous things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. It's so important to understand it's not just nothing. When you say things like, I'm so stupid, or nothing ever works for me, or I can't afford that, or everybody hates me, or I can't stand her, or whatever the stuff that you allow yourself to say and we all do it. We all do this, but it's important to understand that when this happens, when we catch ourselves doing that, it's not nothing. It's grievous. It's grievous. You are speaking grievous things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. Oh, how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust thee before the sons of men. So the infinite's goodness is so great that we can't conceive of it, because in this particular time-space continuum and with our limited thinking, and that everything gets filtered through our ego minds, we can't conceive of good that's good, that's good, that's good, that's so good that there's no end to how good it is. We can't conceive of that, but we can try. And we can recognize that it's there even though we can't conceive of it yet. And it's that good is there for them, that's laid up for them that fear thee. That means that experience the presence of the infinite. If you're experiencing the presence of the infinite, you're not experiencing gossip and slander. You're not experiencing poverty. You're not experiencing whatever the problem is that you've brought to the psalm. And the more that you can reorient yourself to what it's calling the fear of God, that ecstasy that you experience when you are aware of the presence of God, the more you can orient yourself to that, the faster you are delivered from this problem and then some. Remember that this psalm promises so much more than the deliverance of this one problem. Which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men. In other words, you have no idea all of the plans that the infinite already has for you. How good it is. Just waiting. It's got to, because you've got all this free will that, that you can't, that the infinite will never go against. The infinite will never go against your free will. So the infinite just waits and waits and waits. Eventually they'll come around. They will allow their minds to be used in the proper way so that they can have all these gifts that they don't even know are waiting for them. Thou shalt hide them in secret of thy presence from the pride of men. Thou shalt hide them in the secret of thy presence from the pride of man. Thou shalt keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues. When you are in the presence of the infinite, it's as if you are invisible to everything that's not that. Because the vision of one world costs you the vision of the other. You can't go west and east at the same time. So when you are experiencing the presence of the infinite, the world that exists filled with all of these troubles and strifes dissolves. It's as if it doesn't even exist anymore. It's as if you're hidden from it. Blessed be the Lord, for he hath showed me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. What's the strong city? Your relationship with the infinite. It's where you and the infinite are one. It's like that tabernacle. And there's nothing that can go up against that. It's so strong. It's so strong. And he showed me his marvelous kindness there. We're putting it in the past tense to remind ourselves this is already true, but we have got to tune our radio receiver to that channel so that we can experience that. If we decide to turn our receiver to another channel that's all about how bad they are and how bad everything is and nothing's ever working out for me and look how bad it is and why don't you help me because it's so bad, that's what we get. But when we tune that receiver to the presence of the infinite, what it calls the fear of God here, when we tune our receiver to the presence of the infinite, nothing but perfection exists for us. And it's as if all of that disappears. And it does. When those of you who remember what a radio is, I don't think we use them anymore that much, but when you turn the channel, the old channel stopped being in favor of the new one. Occasionally you would get two channels at once and that would be bad, but you would just continue tuning that in and you'd get the right channel of what you wanted to hear, and the other channel would just cease to exist completely. For I said in my haste, I am cut off before thine eyes. Nevertheless, you heard the voice of my supplications when I cried to thee. The infinite doesn't hold anything against you. You have made mistake upon mistake upon mistake upon mistake. So what? Who cares? I promise you the infinite doesn't. The infinite doesn't. Every time a baby falls when it's trying to learn how to walk as a toddler, the parents of that child are human. They're not divine. They're not infinite. They're not perfect. But even they don't hold it against the child. They think it's wonderful. Oh, look, they're learning how to walk. Oh, he fell again. So cute, right? It's a similar attitude toward us when we make what we consider to be grievous mistakes. The infinite doesn't hold that stuff against us. It's like, oh, they're learning. They're learning. O love the Lord, all ye his saints, for the Lord preserveth the faithful, and plentifully rewardeth the proud doer. Now, when we're talking about the proud doer, we're not talking about the pride of the ego. The proud doer here is somebody that's proud to be an extension of the infinite. It's the right use of the word pride. It's the positive use of the word pride. It's not, I'm not proud, meaning that I'm better than everybody, but I do have good self-esteem. I do have a healthy self-esteem because God doesn't make junk. I'm perfect the way I was created. And when we recognize that we are perfect the way we were created and God doesn't make junk, and there's nothing about us that's not perfect other than in our own fantasy and imagination, but in reality, nothing but perfection exists as us. When we recognize that and we live that way, plentifully are you rewarded, because then you're on the beam of that. You're where that energy exists. So that's what is reflected to you on the screen of space. O love the Lord, all ye his saints. Now, frequently we talk about saints as being the thought forms of God that are installed in us as souls, and that's true. But in this regard, you are a saint. In this particular regard, you are being called a saint because you were created perfect, and you're here to do grand and glorious things. And this problem, whatever it is that you brought to the psalm, is nothing but a distraction from that which you came here to be, do, and have. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord. Strengthening the heart means clearing out the deep mind. You're no longer going to be habituated to these problems because they're no longer in your deep mind. You've been cleared, you've been cleaned, you've been strengthened. So you should feel good about yourself, and you don't worry about the future, and you don't worry about the world, and you don't worry about any of it because it's already taken care of. All you do is take care of your focus. If you keep your focus on the presence of the infinite as has been instructed in this psalm, the rest of it will take care of itself. So be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord. Hoping in the Lord meaning that's where we place our faith. Not, oh, I hope this works. No, we have certainty. Hope means certainty and faith in this regard. Our faith is in the infinite, not in the problem. And that's the secret sauce That's the magic ingredient. And when we have that, nothing but success can occur. So you just keep coming back to the same psalm once a day until you get a sense of peace and certainty that whatever it is that you've brought to the psalm is being resolved. When you get that sense of peace and certainty that all is working out well, that's an indicator to you from your deep mind that your spell has been cast and you don't need to work on it anymore. In fact, it's better if you just put it out of your mind completely and move on to something else and let it manifest as it will. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be. See if we have any questions. We have only a few moments here, but we do not. Okay, I hope everybody can join us for our premiere that's happening in just about, 7 minutes from now. And thank you so much to the amazing moderators. Today we had the lovely Heather and the lovely I Am Her Eminence, and we will see everybody at the premiere. Until next time, blessed be.